Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm. And she said, yeah, you know, this is the site that I've been sort of involved with, and, you know, you should do some writing for them. And I said, great. And I did a 2-week guest blogging stint, which developed into an assignment I was given for their Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, like, city guides. So we did 6 cities in the U.S. and like 6 events in each city for both holidays. I did that for them, and that developed into my ultimately taking over their food blog, their short-lived food blog, Pickled, and that proving to be a success. From there, they asked me to be a channel editor. And
What's
so
a channel editor?
The site has been sort of evolving all along, and I think they've been struggling to figure out the best structure for it, and they decided to experiment at one point with having channels. So politics, faith and spirituality, you know, culture, arts and culture, lifestyle stuff. So they had me overseeing 2 channels. It was the religious stuff and the lifestyle stuff. So continuing with the food and all that. And I did that for a while, and then it ultimately ended up with ultimately what was supposed to happen was I was supposed to come on as managing editor. And then a lot of unforeseen, unexpected turbulence sort of cropped up, and it was short-lived.
Right. Now, when I met you at the party, you were selling Juicy Thumbware.
Yeah.
Did you do a lot of that?
That was, you know, I had this whole plan for them whereby I wanted to sort of have at least 2 separate branches functioning and evolving for what's basically a brand. So the online magazine, to keep developing that and producing really awesome original content, and then to do events and merchandise, which obviously, you know, it all can really mesh together well.
Yeah.
And so that was the first attempt I made at getting Juicy involved in an outside event and promoting the site and the brand at an outside event and trying to, you know, hawk some of our stuff. Their stuff. It's not our stuff anymore. Yeah.
So what did you love and hate about your time at Juicy?
Again, it was sort of a love affair with what I saw as huge potential, creative, cultural potential, and when something was working there, it was such a wonderful rush, you know. Having the freedom to think about and write about and publish whatever you're interested in at the moment, and then have people read it and respond, and whether it's, you know, positive or critical, it's just like, that was wonderful. The downside and the frustration was that there was just always a sense there that they really weren't sure what ultimately they wanted the site to be, and so because of that, there was a lot of it was hard to ever really set an anchor down and then move forward on something, because it was almost like the purpose or the mission statement was always changing, or like there were some commitment issues.
What do you think Juicy did well? Maybe not so well.
Where did they do well?
Yeah, what do you think Juicy, where did it succeed?
They did a pretty incredible job, at least early on, of attracting and bringing in some really spectacular minds and voices.
Yes.
And then I think that started to slip. Because,
it lasted about a month.
Because
like they had all these great writers for a month.
You know, because I think one thing that a lot of people forget with business, or don't even consider with business, is just because you have a good idea doesn't mean that you can run a business.
Right.
They're totally separate skill sets to be, you know, the creative idea person and then like the business plan, business running person. And I think there are so many people out there who just assume, oh, I have a great idea, I'm going to start a business and it'll be fantastic. Well, no, I mean, there's so much that goes into running a business that might seem boring, but that's so essential to sustain the creativity, you know, to create that foundation for it to thrive on. And that was really, really, really lacking there. So I think that was the major weak spot.
There was certainly at times a bright light in the Jewish blogosphere.
Yeah.
It gave us something new. I really enjoyed the John Derbyshire dialogues. Who was that woman in New York, a very distinguished writer who did a dialogue with John Derbyshire early on? She wrote one novel. She wrote a collection of essays about Hitler. Daphne Merkin.
Yeah.
That was quite a coup having her early on. Daphne Merkin's a very accomplished writer.
There were some pretty amazing pieces and events even that came out of Juicy.
Yeah. It was exciting.
It really was.
Like, not many people have the money to invest in good writing and good writers and do something different on the web. It was like really, really exciting. So what's your relationship to Judaism? Were you raised in a particular denomination, or what?
I was raised Reform.
Mm-hmm.
I was raised in Los Angeles, and my earliest days were spent at Hebrew Day School in the Valley. It's Heschel Day School.
Oh, so day school, not just...
It was, yeah, it was from preschool through second grade. I was in day school. And then we moved over to the city. And I should probably turn that off. And hold on. And then I went to public school, but I immediately started Hebrew school at Temple Emmanuel. And I was bat mitzvahed there. And I was confirmed. And I did weekend retreats such as Dor Hadash and Havrat Nor and Halutz and stuff like that. And I learned very little throughout. And then there was a big gap from about age, say, 16 or 17 through really juicy time, which is when it sort of became something that I realized I could explore in a new light and make my own. And that's also around the time that I became acquainted with the work of Donnie Mossing, who is
Who's Donnie Mossing?
Donnie Mossing is a musician and poet and historian, and he is also the new cantor at my temple, which is Temple Israel in Hollywood. And it actually happened by accident. You get it now.
I think that's Monica. That is. Oh, go out and get. Hello. Coming out and getting you. Bye. So, hang on. We'll be right back.